Senator Surovell, thank you so very much for rejoining us. Can you hear us this time? We can't hear you.
Yeah. We need better phones in the Commonwealth.
Oh, good. Did you have any role in any of the discussions and negotiations with Monumental Sports? And once again, what is your view of this deal?
And when did you hear about it?
I heard it might happen maybe about 3 or 4 weeks ago, but no, we didn't. We don't play any role in it in the legislature. There's a separate committee called the Major Economic Investment Commission that looked at it. I don't serve on that yet, and so I didn't have any role in the actual terms. But I was briefed on the possibility of a deal, but not. We don't have any role until the legislative process takes place here. Sorry about the connection. We got a brand new General Assembly building here, and we're still, I think, ironing out the kinks in our internet.
Senator, thank you very much for joining us. I want to talk more about this, but very briefly, I want to say congratulations to you for becoming the new Democratic leader of the Senate. You're taking over from the retiring Senator Dick Saslaw. That's a major achievement right there. What major piece of advice has he given you as you take the reins in January?
Well, the majority leader in the Senate doesn't have quite the powers that the Speaker of the House of Delegates does. It's really I like it. I liken it to sort of being the chief border collie.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay.
You really have to.
Well, all right.
If you a lot of personalities and keep a lot of people happy.
I know Dick Saslaw was hoping he had told you something secret you'd share with us. Now, listen. The issue here, the only thing I've heard about in Alexandria is the worries that traffic and this massive development along US 1, where the Potomac Yard is, that big popular Target store is now, and other big box stores on the railroad tracks there, is that Alexandria is not prepared to handle the traffic. The Mayor Wilson of Alexandria says most of it will come by metro. That little teeny tiny metro stop that's being built there is not nearly enough. Are you going to be able to handle the traffic for what this major development is, which is not just the arena?
Well, listen, I think people are right to ask questions about it. I think it's important to remember that when the Verizon Center was built in 96, 97, I don't think there were any road improvements that came with it. It was built right on top of a metro station. And there's no question that this metro station needs to be built to handle the kind of pedestrian traffic it's going to be seeing going forward. I also think we ought to be talking about a VRE station on the line that's right next to it. People don't realize that when this long bridge opens up in about 2028, 2029, that we're going to have bidirectional sort of European-style commuter rail service going on that rail line, even from Maryland into Virginia, and I think that'll also help to alleviate the stress. But Alexandria just built a bus rapid transit median dedicated down Route 1, and I think that there's a lot of good infrastructure in there already, but we definitely need to continue that conversation. Make sure
Virginia is supposed to be offering $200 million in transportation improvements as part of this deal. What would that money be used for?
I've heard there's a piece of that, and I have not seen the specifics on what that is supposed to be or exactly who's paying for it. What I thought I was told was that part of it had to do with enhancements to the actual metro station, as I said, to get more people in and on and off the trains because it wasn't built to handle those volumes. The rest of it, I think, was probably road capacity improvements that are going to be needed to get the cars from Route 1 over to where the stadium is, there where the movie theater used to be behind the Target. That's my assumption, but I haven't seen a full briefing on exactly those improvements yet.
Senator, the district officials are, of course, shell-shocked over this, although many people are blaming the mayor and the council for not acting more aggressively a year ago. But they're hoping that this deal falls through. They say that the transportation issues and congestion could get enough people to turn against it that it won't go through. Despite that, do you think, bottom line, whatever the concerns are that are being raised now, Don Beyer, the congressman, has raised an issue about traffic. Do you think this will fall through, or do you think the deal will go through, bottom line?
I'm let me put it this way. I'm cautiously think it might go through, but I'm telling you, we got a lot at issue with this governor. The governor's tried to make an issue of Metro funding and how Metro operates, which is ironic to me, given that this entire project is dependent on Metro. We have to get the Metro funding piece done. I know our finance chairman, Senator Lucas, has said there's some things that are important for her. And you got to remember, this deal has to be passed by the entire legislature, not just the Northern Virginia delegation. And we have to show that there's benefit for the entire state in this project and not just our Northern Virginia region in order for all of them to be able to vote for it. And so we have some work to do with folks, and we also have some work to do with the governor, because the governor needs to come, to our position on some things like Metro funding.
Would you say you're cautiously optimistic?
I think that's probably a fair statement. I mean, I think it's a very interesting project, and it's I think it's a lot better than a football stadium. 200 events a year, the kinds of economic benefits it brings. It's a very, I think, important project. We've seen what stadiums have done for Washington D.C. and Nats Park, and what the Verizon Center did for downtown. And I know that's why Tom and many others are upset, but. I think it's an interesting project.
Let me quote you of what you've said about the transportation and Metro and getting the governor involved. The only reason this project is going where it is because it's sitting next to a Metro station. And screwing around with Metro funding is a great way to poison the goose that lays the golden egg for this entire Commonwealth. So the governor, as big as the smile he had on Wednesday morning, he's got to put his hand in his pocket.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the construction cranes in Northern Virginia are around metro stations. They're not anywhere else. It's where people want to live and locate their businesses. It's why we got Amazon to relocate to Virginia. We have to get this metro problem solved, not just for this year, but for the long term. And I know you're going to hear from Ms. Elsa Brooks and also Randy Clark about it in a minute. But, Metro has some long-term problems, and we got to solve them so they don't keep coming up every 6 years.
Senator Surovell, congratulations and good luck. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, and sorry about the connection issues. We got this brand new building, and nobody's figured out the kinks in it yet, but we're working on it.
And let the record show I was basically nice.
You were